Kentucky has its first confirmed case of the coronavirus.
So that was 4 years ago today. Kentucky was just beginning its battle with COVID-19. Since then, according to Team Kentucky's COVID-19 dashboard, the Commonwealth has seen more than 19,000 deaths from coronavirus.
Jim Stratman is taking a closer look at this and joins us in the studio now. Jim, hard to believe 4 years later, but where do things really stand right now?
Well, we're in a much better position, obviously, now 4 years later, because we have things like vaccines, we have things like antiviral treatments, we have things like testing that is readily available to help try to fight off this virus. But it did take a lot of hardship in order to get here. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. The first case was reported in Harrison County, Kentucky, in Cynthiana 4 years ago today. That person was taken to isolation at the UK Medical Center in Lexington, and from there, our world's changed. 5 days later, on March 11th, Governor Beshear recommended social distancing for everyone, and the very next day, he recommended that in-person schooling stop. According to the state's COVID-19 dashboard, which was discontinued in October of 2023, more than 1.8 million cases of COVID-19 were reported throughout the Commonwealth. Now, while cases are no longer being actively recorded, COVID-19 is still very, very present. In fact, doctors that I spoke with say there are still patients suffering from long COVID complications from an infection they may have caught all the way back in 2020.
It may be about 10% of my population of folks who have gotten COVID. And some of those patients, they are still suffering from an ability not to smell. Some of them can't taste. Some of them are dealing with daily headaches and migraines. Some are dealing with breathing issues, as well as an increased complication risk of diabetes or prediabetes.
That was Dr. Mona Lisa Taylor with Norton Healthcare. She tells me that you're much more likely to have long-haul COVID complications if you had an infection and you were not vaccinated, or if you didn't have access to any of the treatments that are now available. And to that point, COVID-19 is still not gone. Dr. Taylor says we'll likely be seeing updated COVID-19 shots every year around the same time that the flu vaccine rolls out. I'll take a look at some of those treatments for long COVID being developed coming up in the next half hour. Grace?
Jim, thank you. Today there will be a ceremony in Frankfort to commemorate this anniversary. Governor Andy Beshear will be joined by state and local leaders along with families impacted by the pandemic. He's also expected to declare March 6th a day of compassion in Kentucky. The ceremony is set for 1 o'clock this afternoon at the COVID-19 Memorial on the Capitol grounds.
Also happening today, the man accused of killing a student on the campus of Campbellsville University is expected back in court. 21-year-old Charles Escalera was arrested February 24th in connection to the death of 18-year-old Josiah Kilman. Escalera and Kilman were teammates on the university's wrestling team. An autopsy confirmed Kilman died from asphyxia or strangulation. Escalera is now facing murder charges in Taylor County and burglary charges in Greene County. He's expected in court this morning at 8:30. An oversight task force for Jefferson County Public Schools is moving forward. A House committee in Frankfort approved its creation yesterday. The task force would review the school districts with more than 75,000 students in the state, but JCPS is the only one that meets that mark. The group would also be tasked with exploring options for splitting up the district. Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio opposes the move and says even having these discussions is costing the state valuable time and resources.
The challenges, and the commission will find this, that it is an impossibility to do. It is an absolute impossibility to do with just amazing inefficiencies that will happen. That will be found.
Instead, Dr. Polio says Kentucky lawmakers should be concerned with other issues our schools are facing right now, like teacher and bus driver vacancies and student attendance. The next step for the task force is a vote in front of the full House.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear has vetoed a bill he calls morally wrong and mean. Beshear took action on House Bill 18 yesterday while visiting Beecher Terrace here in Louisville. That bill would block local governments from enforcing their own housing ordinances, which ban discrimination based on source of income like federal housing assistance.
The people that would be harmed by this bill are those with disabilities, senior citizens, low-income families, and our homeless veterans.
Supporters of the bill say it's about protecting the property rights of landlords, which includes one Louisville landlord who says because of the current policy, he's seen a few of his homes wrecked.
Government was so behind the Section 8 people, and that the Section 8 people were just taking advantage of the fact they didn't have to do anything. I'm a Christian man, okay? I don't want someone living out on the streets. But at the same time, I don't expect someone to take advantage of me.
With the veto, the bill goes back to the Kentucky House. The General Assembly does have the votes to override the governor's veto.
In some other news here this morning, Steve Lawson, one of the men accused in Bardstown's Crystal Rogers case, is now asking a judge to dismiss his charges. In a motion filed yesterday, Lawson's attorney claims Lawson was promised immunity in exchange for his testimony, but the state is going back on its offer by charging him with conspiracy to commit murder and evidence tampering. The attorney says Lawson was interviewed by local investigators in 2015 and then by the FBI in 2020. He then testified to a grand jury in 2023, all in exchange for a promise of immunity. Attorneys either want Lawson's charges dropped or for his testimony to be excluded from evidence. They're asking the court to hear the motion on March 21st, when both Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson, Steve Lawson's son, are also expected in court.